wants to this knowledge to be imparted with this intention in mind, because we have many instances in our Puranas and Upanishads where the mere touch or the grace or a glance of Sadguru makes us realize very important things in life. We don't need such detailed conversation unless you want everyone to know about it. Just by a mere glance, you will be able to realize things. Then Yama has started to give out the entire synopsis of what happens to the soul. I just give out a brief of it. I find two types of people in this world. Shregascha pregascha manushya metah tau samparitya vivirakti dhiraha shreyo dhiraha abhipregaso vrinite preyo bando yogakshemat vrinite. Shreyas and preyas, they are wonderful words. They are rhyming words. Shreyas and preyas. The word Shreyas has an etymological derivation. Prashasta is the superlative. Prashasta is the best, paramount. Prashastasya Shraha is the Vyakarana Sutra. The word Prashasta is shortened in a single syllable as Shra. When you have something Iyasun suffix, then it becomes Shreyas. Shreyas literally means better than the superlative, better than the best. That is the meaning of Shreyas. Similarly, Priya is something dear to us, very dear to our mind. Better than the dearest in our lives is called the Prayas. In our lives, we come across many things. Some are of the category of Shreyas, others belong to the category of Prayas. Some have short-term benefits, some have long-term benefits. Everyone wants to make money in short time, achieve something in very short time. No one wants to go for a long-term training, because it is so boring and it is so time-consuming, and it also requires lots of attention and energy. It will sap us of our energy. That's what the common folks feel. But Dhira is the one who is not affected by the short-term gains. We should always understand the meaning of Dhira. Kadidasa at one point he says, when there is sufficient cause for the mind to get titillated, deviate, and still it is not swerving from the path of righteousness, that is the virtue of Dhira. Dhairya means that. Dhairya, courage, is to not to swerve from the path of divinity or from the path of righteousness. When there is a insignificant cause also, normally the human tendency is to, okay, no one is looking at me, I can do something whatever I want. This temptation always lures us. In fact, the Dharmashastra says, if you want to test your real caliber, you can apply it to instances in your life. When you are in total solitude, there is no one to watch you. That is one important juncture when you can judge yourself. Don't ask anyone, not your father, not your mother, not your wife or children, not even your guru. You yourself are the best judge about you. Don't tell that result to anyone. When you are in absolute solitude, when no one is really watching you, when you have everything at your disposal, if you still not use it, then that is discretion. The second one is when you have ample reason to deviate from the path of dharma. I will substantiate this through a couple of sentences. When there is substantial reason for you to deviate from the path of dharma or abstain from your duties, then if you really keep up your works and act according to the code of conduct, that itself is your real pass in your test. So Shreyas and Preyas are two things. The choices are obvious for us. You can sit here and think of something else. You can sit elsewhere and think of here. And there are many options for us which are actually dear, but they are not beneficial in long term. So, Dhira is the one who is not affected by the short term gains, and he always sticks to the path of dharma with a long term benefit which is perennial in nature and which is always there. Suppose if you make an investment in a very highly volatile stocks, what would happen? If the circle comes down, your wealth is lost. So if you want to go for a solid investment, probably it would take more time to appreciate, but ultimately it will happen. If you are investing in good education, probably you are investing for a good future. If you want to make quick buck by say serving a hotel or probably in some supermarket or something else, you are getting some quick money. These postgraduate doctors or the scholars who are doing postdoctoral research, they get less money, but those who are working elsewhere, they get more money. That is short-term gain, that is long-term gain. If you want to have long-term gain, then you should not be affected by the short-term gains. That is the Shregas and Pregas. This discussion is vital in our life for our success. So, the incident of Nachiketas in the works of Yama, the Manda is the one who is actually lazy or the dumbers. They go for a short-term gain, but not the Dhiras. The intelligent should always opt for the long-term gain, which would keep us on the track of dharma, and perennially we will benefit, and not only us, those who follow us would also benefit. And he was very much impressed by the discretion of this small kid, and he has given the entire gamut of the mrityu, how it happens, how it travels, and is there something called a travel, and what is the state of the Atma, and how do you know the Atma, how do you define the Atma, and is it really possible to define the Atma? Nayamatma pravachanena labhya. It is totally impossible to define the Atma, but what? Dingmatra darshanam. If I say, where is Chicago? I can say that it is towards the east. That's what I can say. If I tell you the direction, it is not that I have described the entire route or the entire description. I am not giving the entire description of a city. Dingmatra darshanam. That means I am just giving you the direction. Similarly, the pravachana or the definitions of Atma are Dingmatra darshana, but in effect it can never be explained. It is inexplicable. That is the sentence of Yama, but he has given ample instances about how people deviate and how people falter in their pursuit of Atma Jnana, Brahma Jnana, and without this discussion, no one is bound to succeed. And with this, Yama has blessed that kid to perform, to return to the Martya Loka, to his father, and partake in the completion of the Vajashravas Yajna, the Sarvavedas, through which his father also benefited, and all of them were elated with the return of this kid. So discretion plays a lot of role in our life. When you want to have something short term or long term, and Shreyas or Preyas, this is the important discussion one has to take in life. These chances will actually make or ruin our lives. So we have to be very careful. In the words of Yama, we have to be diligent and decide for ourselves whether we want to be on the side of Mandas or the Dumbers, or intelligent people who have the better distinction and discrimination what to take. This is the Shregas and Preyas. And let us pray to Lord Ganapati to bless all of us with this great discretion. In the words of Shankaracharya, this itself constitutes Viveka. Viveka is Atma Anatma Vichara, which is good, which is bad, or which is permanent, which is impermanent. That's in the Vedantic terminology, in the philosophical terminology, which is Nitya, which is Anitya. Are you going for something permanent or something temporary? That we have to make a discretion ourselves, and really pray to our Sadguru and Ganapati to bless all of us with this discretion, which will which should make our lives better. Jai Guru Datta. Yes. If you have some questions, we can discuss them. I don't know because the time given to us me was 90 minutes. We have concluded by 7:30.
The question is questions. 15 minutes of questions. We have questions, so maybe Dhruva can ask the question.
I have one question. Okay.
I welcome you to onto the stage.
All right. So everyone can hear.
Please announce your name so that we have it on record. Please come up to the stage.
Stay. Launch it. This was a very, very good explanation that I've heard about Nachikéta's story.
Can you pass on the mic to him?
Yeah, we are fixing the mic.
He's fixing.
Who?
But anyway, I will try to speak loudly so
Please
that
take
other
this.
people can hear. Please take this.
My name is Dhruva Chakraborty, and I am from Bengal, but we live here now. One thing that I always wondered about Nachiketa story is that the education that he received from his father, Vajrastravas, it is in one of the traditions of philosophy. And I imagine, because Gautam Rishi is supposed to be the author of the Nyaya Darshan, so he must have been an adept in learning the Nyaya philosophy. Is that correct? That do you think from his questions, line of questioning, and the reasoning that when Nachiketa went to see Yama, is that according to Nyaya Darshan that his thought process was, or is it from Mimamsa perspective?
Thanks, Dhruv. You had drawn our attention to a couple of important philosophical scriptures which give us another dimension in our lives. The Nyaya Sutra and Dharma Sutra are attributed to the sage Gautama. As he has rightly said, the genes which we carry and which we are carrying from generations immemorial, we all have one lineage in the form of some Gotra rishis. We all have that. But it is not really possible to point out that who is that Gautama. As I have said, the Vyakarana Shastra gives several methodologies to interpret a Shabda, how it is derived. Gotrapatyam is the one who is born in that lineage, in that clan. He is also called the Gautama. So, needless to say that if this boy was so genius, he was carrying some genes from the great philosophers in his family. And Gautama Nyaya Sutra and Gautama Dharma Sutra. Gautama Dharma Sutra pertains to the code of conduct in everyone's lives. It is not particular to one family or one sect or one community. It gives the holistic approach about the code of conduct. That is the Gautama Dharma Sutra. Gautama Nyaya Sutra and Kannada's Vaiseshika Sutras are one of the important aspects of our philosophical pursuit. They are called the Nyaya Vaiseshika Darshanas. Darshana is the view, the perspective of philosophy. Darshana. So there are many darshanas. Sarva Darshana Sangraha, which is a compilation of all these darshanas, is a compilation of 16 perspectives of philosophy that is made by sage Vidyaranya. But coming back to this thing, Nyaya Darshana of Gautama is the bedrock of Prachina Nyaya Shastra of our heritage. So he might have carried the great genes of his forefathers, and both of them are great recognized in their form.
Any other questions, anyone? About anything, not just this story.
Nobody has another.
Okay, on this occasion, I am also glad to announce that we are in the process of compiling a data bank in the form of questions and answers on various topics. We have teams of scholars who are actively supporting us and who are also in the forefront in addressing many of the issues that are relevant to the current day society. If you have any questions, anything about our heritage, be it philosophical, cultural, traditional or custom linked, anything, you are welcome to send those questions to us. We have many of our organizers here. You know, the Hindu Temple of Omaha, Nebraska could also be a part of it. This, we really believe that this compilation would help not only the Indian community, but anyone who is interested in the great Indian thought, the Oriental thought, would greatly benefit by this. We have just codenamed it as SGS, Unified Dharmic Heritage Access, SUDHA Sudha. Sudha stands for elixir or nectar. So we really hope that this nectar would reach out to the common man in very short term. And many devotees across the globe, from Australia and from UK, we had received more than 400 queries, and our Indian friends are also joining this effort. If you have any efforts, if you can contribute, you are also welcome. It is not that you should only ask a question. If you have a set of questions and answers, you are welcome to share with us. We are in the process of making a repository, single repository, which has the text, images, audio and video at one place, which is categorized and classified according to the subjects. This is one project which I have embarked upon. You can help us. Thank you. Jai Guru Datta.
Before I extend a vote of thanks, I have a question. It was a question that one of my youth group students actually asked, and the context was actually discretion versus destiny. And the question is that discretion kind of presupposes that you have a choice, you have some source of free will, and destiny is basically where, by definition again, etymologically, that it is predestined of some way, so that kind of negates the concept of discretion. So, in our philosophy, which one is prevalent, discretion or destiny or both? Or so, what is the context of that? That was a question that was asked to me. I would request your response to that.
Dr. Padiyadam wants to know which one has more force, the destiny or your discretion. If destiny is the one which makes everyone follow their preset actions, then what is the scope of discretion? Is there something called the free will? That is your question, right? Okay. This was elaborately discussed in one of our recent interactions in Mysore in the course of Jnana Yoga Sammelana. Of course, it is an evergreen subject. Everyone would like to think about it again and again. Let us imagine a scenario. There are a set of meritorious people who have the wealth, who have the education, who have the position, and anything better in the life they have on their side. That's one side. Let us keep them 50 plus. And there are a set of people, let us call them 50 minus 50, say other half. They are not endowed with education. They are always indulging in arson, riots or any other sinful acts. They don't have education, they don't have wealth. For that, thefts, this, that, all sorts of crimes in terms of law or say the dharma. because here we should understand the difference between the Nyaya, Nyaya means in this context the law and the dharma, they are different. It is not actually relevant to this question, but we should also think about it. What is the difference between the Nyaya and dharma? Nyaya, it's not the logic I am talking about, the acts of the governments. Suppose if you go to Las Vegas, if you do the gambling, it is not unlawful, right? If you take money from someone, you are not in a position to repay it, and you have filed your insolvency petition, bankruptcy. They call it Chapter 11 or Section 11, something like this, in this country, Chapter 11. And you receive the bankruptcy protection from the government or from the courts. You are not legally deprived of any of your possessions till the court decides otherwise. You have that protection. And in the course of time, you may also even stop giving anything back. That is also okay, according to the law. But dharma does not stop there. Since you have legally, with a vote to repay, you have taken it. Till your life ends, you have that rada. If you do not repay in this birth, you have to repay it in its next birth. So that burden is always on your shoulders. That is the difference between dharma and nyaya. Okay, let's come back to the main subject. If the other half who are less endowed, if they are destined to fail and do, there is no way they can come up. And the meritorious section, the 50 plus section, there is no way they can come down. If the destiny has all powerful captivating force in its armory, then there is nothing called a free will in this human life. If there are prescriptions for humans to do something and not to do something, that means that the scope of destiny is limited. It is not all-encompassing. It cannot be. If I have said don't do this, and if I ask you to do this, if the Dharma Shastra, Gita Shastra, and all the scriptures, all the faiths, if they are asking you to do something and not to do something, means there is a scope of free will. Without that free will, you will never be able to act. Hence, there is certainly the scope of free will is greater than the scope of destiny. This is the logical explanation. The second factor, then what is the scope of destiny? Let us also analyze a bit, we will just delve deep into this subject. Destiny plays in the role of your birth, because you don't have any control over your birth. Because I started with the same subject this day, you don't have any control over, you don't have a choice of birth. I should be born into this family, etc. It is all by the destiny. Again, here the destiny, the factor of destiny has a combination of your previous karma, the last wishes of your previous birth, and your previous karmas, and the discretion of the mrityu, the yama, the pitraloka adhipati, they all constitute the part of destiny. Destiny has a scope over your birth, where you should be born, and what should be your training, etc. The free will actually make you act, whether to choose the company of good people or bad people. What should be your training? And the sahavasa, the company, the education that you opt for, and the renunciation and refrainment, these are the things where discretion prevails. That is the reason you see many people who are successful in their lives, in spite of poverty or very backwardness in their communities. You can see many success stories. Everywhere you can see. Hence, the scope of discretion is greater than the scope of destiny in terms of human life, the achievements in human life. That is the final statement.
At this stage, it is an understatement to say that it's a privilege for me to extend a vote of thanks. But it's a duty that I have been given, and I'm honored that on behalf of the Vedantic Center of Nebraska, we are extremely grateful for such a satsang, such a erudite discussion that we had today. The fountain of knowledge that you presented here today is immense. It will forever stay with us. It is forever going to be a part of the Hindu temple's discourse. For that, we are immensely grateful, thankful, and honored by your presence. The Vedanta Center of Nebraska has had the pleasure of organizing such talks with various groups. We have had the pleasure of working with the Chinmaya Mission in the past, with Ma Amritanandamayi's group in the past, with ISKCON, and today we are very, very pleased that we have had the pleasure of working with the Datta Yoga Center as well as the SGS International Vedic Association to have this satsang in our temple. On behalf of the Hindu Temple, on behalf of the Vedantic Center of Nebraska, we want to thank the Datta Yoga Center, the Datta Peetham in Mysore, and the SGS International Vedic Association for making this possible. Your presence here is immeasurable for us. For that, please accept our obeisance, our gratitude. As per our norms, we will be honored to make a small donation to SGS International Vedic Association on behalf of the Hindu Temple, and that check shall be duly given to Chandru within the week. We once again thank you, and we would like to definitely be a part of Sudha. There are lots of questions that our youth group asks, which stumps most of us. That asset would be a tremendous source for not only the youth group but also the congregation. And for that, we can only look forward to that kind of a gift from SGS International Vedic Association to this temple. Thank you again. Please give a big round of applause. Please do join us for some prasadam at the back. Thank you.
त्वमेव बन्धो सखा त्वमेव
बन्धुः सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायति समर्पयामि अच्युतं केशवं रामनारायणं श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिकावल्लभं हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे हरे सर्वे च सुखिनः सन्तु सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् श्रीगणेशाय नमः श्रीसरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीपादवल्लभ नरसिंह सरस्वती श्रीगुरुदत्तात्रेयाय नमः जय गुरुदत्त।
We have prasadam, so before you leave, please take the